I'm not making any promotion of a culture whatsoever. I'm just telling you what I've learned because yes, I am a French speaker, and yes, unfortunately, I have been colonized. So what can you do about it? We learn, okay? And what I want to say is books were very important because he helped us also having good expression and how to speak and how to write very well. I have to admit that I don't have extreme a good expression in English because I'm not speaking English. I'm not, an English speaker. However, you would tell me that, oh, but you say in your previous video that there was a well-known writer that you didn't know was not French, it was actually American who was speaking good French. Yeah, yeah, I can be from another language and have a very good knowledge of English, but I never did time because even when I wanted to study, for example, American literature, I fell into a very bad teacher, professor, so it's not my fault. I mean, in some ways, yeah, in some ways. Anyway, so I will say that, yeah, the more you read, the more the way you speak, and the more the way you write is good. And I still have to improve my English writing skill. I admit it. And in French, it's kind of different in some ways. It's kind of different. We have some difference. It's not easy to go deep into the grammar, all this. But at least when you read and someone read, you will see the difference between someone who reads and someone who doesn't read, even in French or in English, and such and such. So she had a book, okay, a collection of books. Her name was The Countess of Segur, and you can do your research on that. She had a collection of books for kids, and in town, maybe in 5 families in town, maybe three of them will have the collection for their kids. It wasn't in school, but it was like I say, people were curious to help more for their children, to make them know more, discover more stuff. I had to. So my cousin, who was a teacher, actually had a part of the collection, and she introduced me to this book. In this book, we were reading. It was written in very fine, very good French, the kind of French that we couldn't use anyhow, anywhere in town. It was like upper class, society. And of course, it makes sense because she was a countess. And from her story, she was from, I don't know if she was from aristocracy, but she was Russian, from a very good family. She was from Russia, and then they left the country. I don't know what happened in the years, maybe in the history. They have to move from a country to another one, and later on, she went with her family to France. And bear with me, okay, she married into nobility because she married a French count. But bear with me because her books she started writing at the age of 58, and she had a bestseller book that we used to read. That was in cartoon later, and that was made in cartoon, in books, in comics, and such like that. It was Les Malheurs de Sophie. I will make it in English down there. The translation. It was one of the best book, the bestseller that she made. But most of the books she wrote for the kids were very good books. Teach you good manner, you know, teach you how to speak to people, teach you how to, and that's what my cousin wanted me to read. And fortunately, I had my neighbor who came later on because she was married to a diplomat, and they have books for their children. And she had so many books. And in the books that she told me to come and read at her home, and then she was also lending me the book so I could read at home because she wanted me to read, and it was important. My neighbor, really marked. She really have a very strong impact in me. So I was surrounded by people who made me read a lot, and she had the complete collection of the Countess of Segur. So I had the complete collection. I read everything, and you learn how. good manners, good habit, and especially for young girls. So a person like me, you will say, okay, you sometimes you are very much old school conservative, and I don't take it bad. I think I take it as a compliment. Seriously, I don't see anything wrong being conservative in what some of the things I'm doing. And to be honest, from what I've learned and from what I come from in a way, cursing, like for example, you have the new ways, like sometimes you have, I don't see anything elegant about cursing. I'm sorry. Especially when you are a woman, I don't see anything good. I don't see anything elegant when I hear a woman cursing. I don't see anything elegant. I'm not judging. I'm not saying that from my background, how I was raised. In my home, for example, cursing was no, no. And from the books, of that lady, it was very clear on that. My cousin also teaching me, no, it was no way you could be cursing. It's something I didn't know. So when I enter an environment where I see people, you can be famous, you can be a big celebrity, you can be I don't know, a well-known figure, you can be a professor, you can be whoever you can be. You can have all the luxury stuff on you, but when I hear you cursing, you, I can't. I just can't. I don't see anything elegant in it. So we were learning from books, but you will see that I am not a person of ebooks. Okay, I have to be honest on that. I don't do ebooks a lot. I adapt, but I like books that I hold. Even magazine, I have to hold it on paper. Why? Because I'm old school, like I say. I'm old school, like I say, and I like it a lot more when I have the books in my hand. Take time. I have a connection with the author in that way because yes, the author tell you a story and you escape through the story. Okay, so I learn more with the books in my hand than in ebooks. I have problem with ebooks. I don't say it's bad. It's good for people who are probably in, but me, I always go old style. The books in my hand, magazine in my hand, paper book. Sometimes people say, yeah, but it's waste of paper. Yeah, but I like it. That's the way I am. And I also saw that with time, as I see, yeah, ebooks and such and more technology on and on, it looks like, in my view, this is just what I've noticed. It doesn't have to be your observation, but I see that young people, okay, this generation especially, I don't know if I belong to that generation, I don't know. The more, I don't know, we have more access to knowledge today, easy through Google and everything, compared to my time when we didn't have internet and such and such. But I see that, I noticed that people of the older generation were very more eloquent. They speak very well. They write very well. And they have made more good writing skill. They speak very much more. I fell into a video of high school students of the 60s, I think. They had debates. And I'm telling you, it was pleasant to watch them debating from different countries and having how eloquent, how educated, how intelligent and smart these kids were. And it looks like as we have more and more technology, I don't know if it's me who is wrong, as we have more access to knowledge, you have people today who can say stuff that are not really smart. Yeah, you have people who have all the degrees, but I'm telling you, my observation, my humble observation, having the degrees doesn't mean that someone is smart. You have people who are educated sometimes who are not, who can be stupid. Just saying, it's just an observation. I'm not insulting anybody, but sometimes you have people, you see them on TV, you see what they say, you like, wow, wow. Okay. So it was pleasant, and that's why I like to be with other people, because with other people you learn more. Because the old generation, I'm telling you, the student of the 60s, the student of the 70s, the 80s, and probably early 90s, but really the 80s were very, there was something. And you see that most of the revolution in the world, if I'm not wrong, happened with students, university students, and such. But I think people were more, they have more eloquent, articulate, and all this because they were reading more. And it wasn't about having internet because yes, internet, yeah. But then before, it's very strange to see that there is a very difference between that generation and this generation. So books were meant to teach us, to educate us, to make us learn about life in general.